Recording. Awesome. Cool. What's up?
Well, if I would have known, I would have worn my sequence evening gown. If you're recording all this, and
You just never know what's happening, Pixie. I'm telling you, so come prepared. Super cool.
So yeah, thanks everybody for popping on for a few minutes tonight. I know it's always a little bit crazy on a weeknight, but we really appreciate it. If you don't know one or both of us, my name is Maddie, and this is my husband, Brendan. We've been drinking ketones for about 3 months, and you obviously can reach out to us at any time if you have any questions about anything. But what this call is really about tonight is for you to meet some of our friends who have been drinking them much longer than us, and really are, as I said to you when we invited you to the call, people that are really experts on the technology and the science behind what this can do for you and the benefits that it can do for you and potentially others who you care about, because it's safe for all ages, right? It's something that little kids can have, grandparents can have, which is wonderful about it. So we're just going to pass it over to Ryan and Dagmar so that they can introduce themselves and share a little bit about what their experience has been, and then open it up to questions for all of you.
Well, I think we should change it up slightly, and I would like Pixie to share her experience with ketones so far, so people can, get a little taste of what's going on for her. So just share like what you like, how long you've been drinking ketones, and then what you've experienced is like your best thing.
well, I'm trying to remember how long, but if you've been drinking it 3 months, Maddie and Brendan, I'm going to say 2 months, maybe, not quite 2. But for me, although it took a little bit in the beginning, and I've asked this as far as trying to feel certain, am I feeling this, or am I not feeling this, what's going on? But for me, I would say I've dropped weight, that's for sure. I don't feel as hungry. That's one thing I really feel that I've learned from all of you to kind of listen more to my body as far as, am I really hungry, or is it just time to eat? One of those. So it is interesting how I don't feel hungry at times. So it's definitely an appetite suppressant. I would say my sleep's gotten a little better. I think I need to turn my brain off sometimes, but I would say sleep, energy. But overall, it's amazing. I guess you don't think that it's really what drinking something can do. So I have to say, it definitely surprised me when I tried it. But I also trust Brendan and Maddie as well. So I know they wouldn't steer me in the wrong direction. So I don't know if that helps. I still feel like I'm learning. I'm not afraid to ask questions, obviously. So I always reach out if I have questions, but I don't know if that answers your question or not, Ryan. But
no, we always like to hear stories and people's experience more than we don't always hear ourselves talking. So it's those things too. So, but yeah, we'll just share our stories.
I don't have that cool of a story.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's not that cool of a story.
It is. Everybody's journey is unique, and it's yours, so own it and embrace it and move forward with it. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Awesome. Well, we'll quickly just share our stories, how long we've been drinking ketones, what it's done for us, and then really just open it up for y'all to kind of just ask questions. And, I'll just kind of preface it. Any question is a good question. Like, don't feel like, oh, they've probably heard this a million times. Well, guess what? I hope I hear it another million times, because that means we're educating people about what ketones can do and what they could do for you. And it all starts with, what you don't know, you don't know. And I think if you understand how do you move forward, it's always like step by step, and here we are 2.5 years into this, and every day we're finding and hearing different things too from the doctors, from the scientists, and all the things that come out about it. Like last week, I'm a sciencey geeky guy. I like it. Is last week when we had a virtual event, we literally have our first peer-reviewed published article in the Journal of Sports Medicine. And I was like, holy cow, this is like legit. Like literally the stuff I've been waiting for to be able to read about, like showing that ketones are real and that they're there for so many levels. And it just happens the first one is a little bit about performance, showing the validity of exogenous ketones with performance level athletes, which was, I think, is pretty cool, because if it can work for a performance level athlete, it can work for general people, right? That's the way that I look at it, So But real quickly, we've been drinking this. My name is Ryan. This is my wife, Dagmar. We have been utilizing ketones for about 2.5 years. A little over that actually now. But I was very skeptical when I first started. I was the guy that kind of refused ketones because I didn't believe that a simple drink could really do what we needed it to do. And I was a skeptic for about 18 months. Like literally what y'all are doing right here, I wouldn't do any of this. I wouldn't jump on calls, wouldn't even taste it, wouldn't sample it, wouldn't even hear out the guy that was introducing it to us because I just thought it was full of garbage. And I just didn't believe in him, right? And truth be told, she's known Josh, our good friend, for 20 plus years. So it's not somebody that we didn't trust, or have a relationship with. It's just, I didn't believe that this product was what it was. And so I think quickly for me, it was started drinking the product. I dropped 100 pounds in 7 months. And literally, it was just a game changer, on so many levels. Releasing the weight was awesome, but it's like gaining the energy to get stuff done, being a better husband, being a better father, like being present in my own life was like, oh, I actually do have a life. And I actually have a great wife and kids that look up to me, that I was like, I can be existent in their life now. And I think now it's kind of just like, what's next is the way I look at it, is like, what's the next benefit I'm going to get? And, I don't know, it gets better every day. So I'm going to let Dagmar kind of share her story too.
Yeah, I think, Ryan skipped the part where he was doing keto for a while. And that's why he didn't really believe in ketones, because he thought you had to get into ketosis nutritionally. So we have 2 kids, and with a family of 4, it was hard to like cook and maintain like meals. And with him doing keto at the same time, I was diagnosed with celiac. So I had to go like eliminate all the gluten and grains in my life. So I was trying to eat that way. And then of course the kids wanted to eat what kids ate. So it was hard at that time to kind of keep running a family of 4 and eating right. So that's why when ketones came in, I'm like, God, just stop the keto diet and drink this. Listen to Josh, because I know you're all scientific, but just listen to Josh and maybe this would work. Well, it freaking worked, right? He plateaued at doing keto, but then 7 months later, he dropped all the weight he put on from who knows how many years, because he was up to 300 pounds, and he kept lying to me that he was like, oh, I'm still 240. 240 was when we met.
225, I told her. My driver's license still today says that.
He was lying.
So for the first time actually in my life, that's a true funny story. For the first time in my life, I weigh less than my driver's license actually says. So that's pretty good. So I need a new driver's license.
And the funny thing is when we met, he was my personal trainer. So I went into his fitness studio to get my workouts in. And so we used to love working out. But then when the kids came, he got lazy, and I kept working out, but I could never make him work out or do those changes.
I don't want to do it.
So basically it kind of went full circle. But when ketones came into our life, it was kind of like, oh, now he feels better. I feel better, because, they always say happy wife, happy life, but I'm like, happy husband, happy wife, right? Because like the negativity was just, it affects your whole like relationship. So when he started like lighting up on day 1, I'm like, well, let me try this stuff too, because maybe it'll help me digestively, with my mood. I was tired. I was running around working, and kids were all over the place with soccer and school. And 30 days later, I was like, wow, okay, I feel different. I feel good. I feel like my mood is better. My sleep is amazing. And great. My shorts, because this was in the summer, my shorts fit a little bit looser. I wasn't looking for any of the fat loss or anything, but those are like the side effects we talk about that happen because you're in ketosis. So I don't know, it's changed our life.
And to tell you all, she stayed up past 7:45 at night. So it's kind of nice to have my wife back too, to stay up past 7:45. So
yes. So now we just share it because it could change anybody's life.
Yeah, 100%. So just real quick, and then I'll open up the question. So literally all we're talking about, I don't even have, do we have a ketone here? We have a brand new desk and it's not full of ketones yet, but we'll grab one. So all we're really talking about, just so everybody knows, is exogenous ketones, so meaning drinkable ketones. So it's a drink that you literally just put it into your life. I see Chrissy's on here, just recognize the name and face. So she's like on day like 3, right? Yeah, perfect. So your stuff is figured out, by the way. I got an email from support. We're figured out. It's on its way. It should be on its way. So. But anyway, it's really just about how do you drink these ketones and then let them move forward for you. And the cool part is that, you know, along the way, it's just a pack that looks like these. So it's literally that packet. This is True Passion, one of our favorites. Obviously, this is Strawberry Peach, which is on sale right now. And then this is Mango Tango. You can't see it because it's white, but this is caffeine free. The other ones are all caffeinated. But all you do is drink those ketones and choose the lifestyle that you want. Like, we're not here to tell you that keto has to be done with ketones, to be honest. I'm pretty much against keto right now. I would be saying, you know, I would rather have you choose a low carb lifestyle. And that doesn't mean being perfect. Like, go enjoy your ice cream, go do what you want to do, go do the things you want, and just go back into the lifestyle that you can choose. And understand that whatever lifestyle you choose is the one you should stick to. Because if you're on a diet and you can't eat this, that, or the other thing, right, that's restrictive. And most people just say, nope, I'm out, right? This is more like, just drink this product. And I don't care what you do in the beginning. Like, if you don't want to we talk to so many people, they're like, I love my carbs. I want my carbs. I'm like, great, enjoy. But I'll guarantee you within 30 days, you won't want your carbs, because ketones will start taking those out because the way your body starts acting. Right? And it's funny, and some people it acts sooner, you know, but ketones are just such a longer acting fuel source that your body just says, I don't need those things anymore. And then you just start wanting better, right? Like, you just start choosing better foods, and then it's whatever you want. Like, people always ask us, like, what do you eat? And I'm like, I eat meat and veggies. Like, the stuff we should eat, right? Like, it's not rocket science. Like, go back to the caveman world, right? What did they have? Berries. They had stuff that you could kill and stuff that you could plant. They didn't have the bread, rice, pasta, flour, all the stuff you couldn't do, right? They just didn't have it. And so, like, just get back to the basics and then season it up and have fun with it. I mean, that's really the basics. It's not, and if you want to incorporate some healthy fat, that's cool. Like, the nuts and bolts of this is fat doesn't make you fat and carbs don't make you fat. Too many calories make you fat. You know, eating the wrong foods consistently make you fat. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying anybody's fat on here. I'm just saying, like, I look at myself and I go back to that, is that it wasn't that I didn't eat well, because we actually ate well. But I ate one time a day and I probably ate 2,000 calories at that one sitting, right? Because that's all I could do in my life at the time. So for me, it was like, start changing that up, start choosing better calories, start figuring out what they are, and then actually move a little bit. And moving for me, when I first started it, when I was 300 pounds, was walking the dogs with Dagmar. I still didn't go to the gym when I first started. To be honest, I probably didn't start working out until what, maybe 6-7 months ago, routinely. And now I'm embarked on, if you haven't heard of the program 75 Hard, take a look at 75 Hard. It's 2 45-minute workouts a day and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm 37 days into it, and I haven't cheated on anything, and have been perfect with my diet, and it's crazy. But it's a mental challenge. It's not, and fitness is a part of it. You know, so
I think this is the first time where you can have ketones and carbs in your body at the same time, and your brain will prefer the ketones and run off of that fuel versus the carbs. And most of us haven't had ketones in our bodies since we were babies, and babies are born in ketosis, and that's our native state. So it's like, if somebody told me 20 years ago, the goal is to get my body in ketosis, like this trainer over here, like, don't give me a meal plan. If he would have just said, and if he would have known about ketosis, my life would have changed in my 20s, right? Because I would have been basically running on a different fuel. And most people don't even know that you can get into ketosis versus doing a ketogenic diet. So, like, that's the goal, is like, ketosis is like where all the benefits come in, and not anybody knows about that. And that's why, like, we have to, like, tell people, like, and spread the word and keep sharing, because this is how our body prefers to run.
Yeah.
So it's not too late. Like Maddie said, like, all ages, kids, adults, you know, both of our parents drink ketones because It's good for their brain. Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, all that is very, very common in seniors and elderly. And if we could kind of help slow down that process and give like our parents a better, I guess, longevity, you know, better life and better quality of life, then I mean, I want my mom to drink this every day. So, and she does.
And not that Dagmar makes great points, but not to say that we cure, prevent, or treat any of those things. I can just tell you, like, flat out, honestly, like, there's a lot of positive studies that point in those directions, right? Like, and that's the stuff, like, I dealt with orthopedic surgeons for 20 years. And I always said to them, they're like, is that off label? I'm like, you do shit off label every day. Like, you make that choice, right? And so, like, I always say, this is still a choice the same way. Like, if you know things can point to the direction of this could help you, it's still a choice, right? Doctors are advisors. They're not trained anything differently. If you ask a doctor how much nutrition, like, education he has, it's that much. You know what they get paid for? Writing prescriptions. Hopefully nobody's a doctor on this call. But, like, literally, they literally get paid to write prescriptions. Yeah, Pixie, I'm sure, with all those questions you give us. So, like, I think that's the crazy part is, like, the education is there, but it's simple, you know. So anyway, we'll open it up. We'll stop talking and you guys ask questions.
Ryan, would you mind also just speaking, you touched on it a little bit, but I'm looking at Sammy and I think Randall's sitting next to her, but hiding, and then Haley. So those are some folks that definitely have some medical background. Haley studied psychology in school. Sammy and Randall are getting their master's in nursing. So I think the brain and cognitive benefits were what appealed to Brendan and I initially. And I think that's helpful for everyone as well, just like you were saying with older people, but people of any age.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the root of it, if you go Google, like, this is what I've started to do when my 18 months of being a skeptic, like, it was Googling everything about, not that Google's a doctor, but I think the world thinks Google's a doctor, right? You Google everything and you make it happen, right? But I think the funny thing is if the root of everything that ketones are, it's actually about cognition. They're actually the preferred fuel for your brain, right? And your brain will run faster, run harder. It accepts it. It clears the brain fog. Like we always say, it's like, it's the clouds are lifted, or I always say windshield wipers are off my eyeballs and actually know what the hell living is like again. You know, it's like one of those things. But I think ketones are the preferred fuel source for the brain. And then everything else is like an added bonus. Oh, by the way, if your brain's functioning better, you have better energy. Oh, by the way, if your brain's better, you sleep better. And if you sleep better, you have better energy. Like, it's just this constant cycle, right? And I think if you're medical in any way, shape, or form, what's funny that hit me the hardest in the beginning was, I was like, are ketones really real, right? Like, that was my thing. And then I went back into like my anatomy physiology books back in college, right? And I'm like, oh shit, Krebs cycle, this is real. Ketones are produced through this all, and it's an actual thing. And I'm like, oh, so I'm like, that was kind of my first thing that I was like, okay, my buddy Josh isn't full of shit, and he's real. Ketones can be produced, they're real. But it was still about exogenous. And then the coolest part that got me from a science perspective, and this is, I think, really what all of you should really care about, is that what you get is what you get with our product and our technologies, because for the first time in your life, like, if you're familiar with somebody that is like a diabetic, you know, and they check their fingers, you know, poke their fingers for blood, get their A1Cs, their blood sugar, glucose levels, all those things. We can, excuse me, we can test on a ketometer for ketones in your blood. And within 30 to 60 minutes of taking one packet of this, you can show an elevated level of ketones with one packet 100% of the time. Like, it's no joke. Like, if you want to test it, go ahead. I tested mine over the weekend while we were doing our 60-hour reboot. 0.5 millimoles is actually a state of ketosis. And I was at 5.2 millimoles. So I was in a severe deep state, but I hadn't eaten since Sunday night. That was on Tuesday afternoon. That's always my D day of like, okay, if my millimoles are high, I'll continue into Wednesday. If they're not, I eat. So it's when I choose to, you know, do my things, but it was high. And I'm like, that's pretty deep ketosis. Like, if you look at studies, anything above 3 is therapeutic.
But I think too, what's great about these Prove It KetoNat is that it's bioidentical to what your body would produce. So it's like the same are salts, basically.
I mean, it's sciencey, like.
I mean, it's
the same.
identical. Like it would match hand to hand. So
Your body doesn't recognize if you drink them or get them through breaking down fat. That's what really is what it's taking. Like this is just ketones. They're identical to the ketones you produce. So, did that answer your question, Maddie? Okay, cool. Anybody else have any questions? Chrissy, come off mute. Tell us how you're feeling.
Thank you for inviting me. Today is actually the first day that I did not feel nauseous, so I was excited about that.
That's good.
I took Maddie's suggestion and I went and got some Powerade Zero. So I don't know if that was the helper or if my body's kind of starting to get used to things. But I'm liking it so far. I'm liking all the information and it sounds great. My question for you actually is, so like the last 2 days, I'm a teacher, so I've been sitting in services all day long. So, you know, if after I drink it and then I'm just sitting all day long, like, is it still benefiting me or should I be out like moving after I drink it?
I mean, you're always, great question, by the way, and glad you got some Powerade Zero because electrolyte replacement. Remind me to hit on that before we end this call for sure. But electrolytes are hugely of value. You know what I mean? Like that's a big important step. But as far as the ketones being produced, like they're always good, right? Like the thing is like they're always utilized for you. But I think like to your point, like, will you benefit from them? You're always benefiting from them because your body then chooses to use fat as its fuel source. You know what I mean? And then it just continues to go. You know, so along the way, like, yeah, maybe movement will be better, but a lot of times I say like, okay, you drank them and now maybe you have the energy to go get movement done after you've been sitting for a day, where most people will be like, oh shit, I've been sitting all day, now I'm lethargic, don't want to do crap, and I'm not going to do it. Where you get out of there and you're like, shit, I kind of feel good. I should probably go do something.
I did actually. I texted my son and I was like, hey, you want to go for a walk when I get home? He's like, yeah. So
yeah. I mean, that's the stuff that happens is more, it's like, it's still continuing to work, right? And then you're like, man, I got to go do something because I have the energy to do that now. Mm-hmm. Because your body's actually running on what it should be running on, which is a preferred fuel source. You know, and that's it. But I think that's awesome. So what's your favorite flavor so far?
I don't know. I've had 3 of them so far, and actually I've liked them all. Today I tried Splash, which I didn't really know what Splash was going to taste like, and then it was like clear, but it was good. Yeah,
it's like a watermelon citrus flavor.
Yeah. That's I mean, awesome. If I had to pick, maybe the Maui Punch, which I had the first day, but awesome. I've got a raspberry lemonade one I'm looking forward to, and there's a coffee one. I think it's, well, not coffee, it's like cocoa something.
Oh, the Swiss cacao chocolate one. That's Maddie's.
Is that still good with water?
It's a little bit better with milk, like if you have whatever you use, what kind of milk, almond milk or...
Everybody's different.
Yeah, but you could try it with water.
Okay, I didn't want it to be you if I had it with water.
Yeah, no, I think Maddie drinks it regularly.
That one's honestly, for a while, that was my go-to one. I had it with almond milk for a while just because I really liked the taste of it, but I tried it with water and I was like, oh, it's still good. So that one is, it's a nice balance with the other ones that are a little bit fruitier. So I think you'll enjoy that one.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, we use this, that one, we make shakes with it. So we'll do it, like actually they're shakes, not smoothies, because we don't put fruit in it. So we'll actually just do, we do a ketone with some sort of protein, and then we'll do Fairlife milk. If you've heard of Fairlife milk. It's like a dairy-free, lactose-free type of thing. It lasts longer too, so it's kind of nicer. And it's got 13 grams of protein in it per cup. So it's got that, so like, and then ice. And then we blend it up like it's a smoothie, and it's like 40 grams of protein in that baby. So it's a shake.
You just call it a smoothie.
Shake. I'm correcting myself. No smoothie. It's a shake. So, yeah, awesome. Any other questions? Pixie, what do you got for us?
I actually have a couple. They'll probably be easy, but I also want to make sure my friend and coworker Angie is on. And I know, Ange, that you've had some really good questions. So I hope that you feel comfortable enough to ask those. If you don't, I can throw it out there too. So what would the effect of ketosis be if you only did half a packet?
Half a pack? Was that your question? A half a pack?
Yeah, a packet. Like if you, yes. Yeah, like how does that affect? You
just wouldn't have as many ketones in your body and you wouldn't feel as good. I mean, it's just
Okay, so it doesn't, it won't put you into ketosis then,
it probably wouldn't put you in as deep
is
as
what I'm hearing you.
this right here is considered
Oh.
one adult serving, right? We're right
Okay.
now as a company
Great.
working on,
Yep.
as a company right now, we're working on kids formula, an actual kids formula. So like,
Oh, yeah.
take this. Right now, our kids take it, but like my
Gotcha.
daughter drinks a half a pack, my son drinks a whole pack. You know, so.
Oh, gotcha. So it just has to do with children and adults in a sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it normal that if you, like I had mentioned earlier, when you are starting it, or Chrissy or whomever, that you might not feel, I know Brendan, I think, experienced this too. You're kind of waiting. You mentioned a couple times, 30 days, I felt this, 30 days, I felt this. So it can take time. Does it depend on the body, the person, or all of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think here's what the way I'd answer that is, number one, like I'm the lucky sucker that got it on day one. Like day one, I lit up. I was like, oh my God. Like, and I'm like, why did I question this for 18 months? I felt amazing on day one, right? And then I'm watching her experience it in my own home, right? So I'm like watching this, I'm like, like, and it was a good lesson for me personally, because then it grounded me to understand that there's internal things that were going on with her with being celiac, right? So there's digestive issues, there's leaky gut, there's who knows what else is going on in her GI system that you would think about absorption, right? And so for me, it was like, okay, cool. So she's really having some internal fights, not meaning her mentally, but her gut, which means saying, hey, I'm actually not absorbing the ketones as fast as I want to, but now she is, right? And so I think it's very normal that for the first time ever, most people have never had a ketone in their body, period, right? Whether you produce them,
Right.
you know, but most people don't fast long enough to even get a ketone in. You know what I mean? So you'd have to fast for 24 hours to produce a ketone, like with just the diet. You know what I mean? And so like the whole part of this is like the quicker, easier is just to drink it. But everybody's experience will be different. I always say give it at least 6 weeks to 90 days to really give yourself the true feeling of, will this give me a great experience? And I say that only because I believe that any product you've ever tried in your life, most people give it a lot longer than that. Like, you know what I mean? But I would say like ketone,
I get it.
affect quicker. Like you'll feel something in probably 10 to 20 days.
Yeah, I think
I definitely did.
We always just set
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
expectations
Dana.
where in 10 days, you're not going to get a miracle transformation, but you might get to try the flavor, think of what you like, and then maybe just feel that energy a little bit. So it's not always like, I would say mostly people take that 30 days or longer to feel something. Like when
I definitely get that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I definitely get that. And I kind of mentioned it earlier that it didn't really cross my mind after a while that it's 12 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. I guess I haven't eaten yet. You know, that whole piece. It's also interesting that if I do have more, I still eat some carbs, but I try to do lower. But if I do have more carbs than I usually have been having, I definitely feel more bloated. So that's interesting to me that I noticed that where I didn't notice it prior to either. Right. So do you want me to ask about the food one, Ange, or do you want to? You said you have to wait to eat, or
you can come up.
You got to unmute.
Unmute your phone.
Go to the top.
If you're on your phone, just tap your screen and then the thing should pop up. You should be able to unmute on the bottom.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
My first.
So do you want to ask them?
Awesome.
So believe me, I've been there.
So my question was, so when you're drinking the drink and it puts you into ketosis, then are you taken out of it as soon as you eat something?
Well, if you're talking a piece of chocolate cake, probably. You know what I mean? But if you're talking like keeping yourself in a low carb, sensible eating aspect of life, no. In fact, you'll probably heighten it because in a low carb state, your body will start producing ketones as well. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So there's a lot to that. I would say from a heightened effect, you're in the state of ketosis with the drink between 2 to 6 hours. And that's truthfully dependent. Like, I'm sarcastic about the piece of chocolate cake, but even if you had the chocolate cake, you probably still sit there for 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like, this is really more about drink the product, let it shift you, and then just choose wiser, meaning like choose, you know, like lower carb foods. And lower carb to me isn't always perfect. It's like, if you go, I always use this analogy is that if you go out and have a burger and fries, right? And you have the burger and the bun and the French fries, right? One time you go out, omit the French fries, have a side salad, and still have your burger on a bun. The next time you say, hey, this time I want the fries. I really just want those fries. Well, get rid of the bun on the burger and eat the fries. Do you see how that happens? You've really cut your carbs by 50%. Yet you still aren't restricting yourself to eating perfect. You know, to keep it better, obviously you'd say, I don't want the bun or I don't want the fries, but you don't have to do that all the time. You know what I mean? That's the kind of the, I don't want to say the joy, but it's also the wonder of like the product, the technology works so well that you can do all that. And then it's just, you choose where you want to go. Like if you want to be low carb, you want to be vegan, vegetarian, paleo, Whole30, whatever you want to do it. Do something that you're going to sustain and stay there for a long period of time. You know, that's why we choose as a family, like not just us two, but our 11 and 13-year-old children, they eat the same as we do. Like they eat all the same foods. So we're all low carb. Do we still allow them to have Cheez-Its and Pringles and all that crap? Of course, they're kids, right? But they still drink their ketones daily.
We just eliminated, like when I make dinners, we don't do the side of pasta or the side of rice. Like I'll do potatoes, but it'll be very infrequently. It'll be once in a while, but we'll like literally have our meat protein and our vegetables. And that's how they've grown up the last few years.
Like 2.5 years, this is what they know. I mean, my son came home one day last year telling me that he almost got in an argument with his health teacher about fats and proteins and carbs. I'm like, I think he's heard too much. We should probably settle this down a little bit. So,
and I found that sometimes I'm drinking the ketones while I'm eating dinner. Is that?
There is no right or wrong time. Do it when you feel right. I would just say watch your caffeine. Don't drink your caffeine at night, so you make sure you get to bed, you know, and get good sleep, because good sleep is the vicious cycle. That's recovery, you know, so.
Right. And then Angie might have another one, but you had mentioned this once, Ryan, to what the caffeine is. It's something that's more natural. You say it's like a cup of coffee, but at the same time, isn't it something more pure, or I don't know how to explain it, I guess.
It's just called
Dagmar.
It's just called caffeine hydrous, so it's actually true root caffeine.
Okay.
It's nothing crazy. It's nothing unnatural. Like our product's 100% natural. It's actually 100% natural, 100% fermented. So anybody that's geeky, sciencey, fermentation is probably the purest of the purest. We have absolutely no contaminants in our product. So it's like fermentation basically eliminates any opportunity of contaminants, and it also eliminates any synthetics used in your products. So we are the only company that has that. Everybody else we are in our 4th iteration of our product. Everybody else that's chasing us is on chasing our 1st generation that's 5 years old. So, and then we're getting to the next level, which, you know, is getting more exciting. Hopefully it'll happen in 2020, but you're going to actually be able to get saliva or blood tested and get customized ketones for you. So like each person will be individualized, you know what I mean? So that'll blow my socks off from a science perspective, like how you can dial that in and be like, how do you, this 8 weeks, I want fat loss to the extreme. Cool, let's dial that tighter, you know, and you can do it in a custom cocktail. Like that'll be crazy. You know, so cool. Anything else? Feel free to ask questions, you know, and then obviously hit Maddie or Brendan or whoever invited you to, you know, we can always get questions. Maddie and Brendan have a great, you know, Facebook group going on, and if you have questions in there, feel free to pop the questions in there. Dagmar and I are very active in their group too, just to help out. And if something, you know, gets, you know, to a question where they don't know, they're great at finding us. They know where to find us really quickly. That's no problem. And we respond, I think, pretty quickly. And more importantly, just to make sure everybody understands it. So This is, if you want to say the salesy world of this, just so you guys all understand, is to get started, the best way to get started is the 10-day Drink Ketones Challenge. And this is for anybody, even if you're friends, like you get started, you want to share this with your friends, your family, your mother, your father, your loved ones, whoever you run into. You all have your own custom website and allows you to share this with them and say, hey, I'm taking this 10-day challenge. Who wants to do it with me? Right? And it's always better to have partners, right? And then more importantly is along the way, after you do your 10-day challenge, most people say, what's next? I say you drink ketones daily, right? And then if you want to, we have a 60-hour ketone assisted fast that we do monthly. That's our mantra in our Prove It community. It's drink ketones daily, reboot monthly, right? We just finished, meaning my wife and I just finished our 33rd one. I think Brendan and Maddie just finished their second one. So like, it's just part of what we do, you know, and that's part of there. The coolest part is we have a program, it's called our Smart Ship program. And what the Smart Ship program is, it just basically grandfathers you into 22% off your monthly order that would be delivered to your house. And then every 4th month that you're on the Smart Ship, the company gives you a free box of product as a thank you, as a loyalty thank you. So that's a cool thing. I don't know any other company that I'm aware of that gives free product just for you, you know, buying stuff. And then the coolest part is you, even as a customer, if you decide like, hey, I want to share this with my husband, I want to share it with my father, I want to share it with my mother, my brother, my sister, you have your own custom code. If you're on Smart Ship and you're referring it to people else to go on Smart Ship, you actually earn free product from the company, like free, like meaning you won't pay for your ketones, like meaning Dagmar and I have not paid for a ketone we've consumed in 2.5 years. So like we say ketones are great, but when they're free, they taste a hell of a lot better. You know, and so like the cool part is you can earn free ketones as a customer, has nothing to do with a business, you know, and then there is a great opportunity, obviously, you know, like the opportunity is huge right now in today's day and age. Like, what did Michael say the other day? Is most people you run into are tired, crabby, and tired, chubby, or they're looking or broke because they're looking for an income right now. And, you know, we have an opportunity to help people do all of the above, physically, financially, and mentally. You know, and so that's kind of a cool part of what we do. So, but that's kind of nuts and bolts of it. So if you guys have further questions, reach out to Maddie and Brendan and let them know. And we can definitely, you know, get in a Facebook Messenger thread or jump on a private call one-on-one. But great meeting you all. And I hope, you know, we provided some value to you all tonight. And if there's anything else we can do to help you in your journey, like do not hesitate to reach out, friend us on Facebook, and don't feel like you can't message us directly. Like we'll respond. We're not crazy people. Like we're people that just get along in life. So, but if there's anything we do, let us know and kind of go from there. So Maddie, Brendan, anything else?
Do you, just a reminder, can you touch on electrolytes like you had said before?
Yeah, yep, for sure. So electrolytes are actually, I have one. That's the one thing I do have on my desk. So this is our product. It's called Mitoplex. So this is, we operate under good, better, best in our world. And I think Maddie and Brendan have a great picture in your Facebook group on the good, better, best of electrolytes, which I think is awesome. So what it comes down to is electrolytes just regulate your vitamins and minerals, right? So it's not like, hey, like most of you probably eat a banana when you're like, oh, I need potassium, but it also has sugar, so it drops you. So bananas, like if you all eat bananas, I would ask you to take bananas out of your repertoire starting tomorrow, get rid of them. Eat an avocado. It's got 2 times the amount of potassium and it's got some healthy fats. Brendan, yes, get it out. And so like, but the whole point is like anytime you supplement, you need to regulate your vitamins and minerals. And to that point, like where Chrissy mentioned before, like she was feeling a little bit nauseous or a little bit lethargic. It's because the ketones will be a little bit of a, I don't want to say diuretic, but they'll drop your vitamin and minerals a little bit. And then you have to bring them up because that's just what ketosis does to the body. But the longer term you bring electrolytes in. And so we say good, better, best. We say Powerade Zero. There's a product on Amazon called Ultima. It's just ULTIMA. It's 0 carbs, 0 sugar. That's a great product. It's like $30 for 90 servings. That's a great product to have in your house. Drink as many times a day as you want. And then obviously Mitoplex is like the best. It's got so many different things. It's got creatine, sodium, vitamin D3, all those things in it. So it's ready to go. This, you literally, it's non-flavored. So you literally just take it, put it in your ketones if you want, and you're good to go. So it's just meant to be in combination with, or if you want it plain, you can take it plain too. It just tastes like salt water. It's no big deal. It's just sodium,
Yeah,
potassium.
ever since I started drinking one right away in the morning when I wake up, and then later in the day, I have eliminated my headaches. So
Yeah.
I used to have like headaches from not drinking enough water, because for me it's hard to drink 70 ounces of water where he's drinking a gallon, no problem. So
Yeah.
I need to like replenish with those minerals that I'm peeing out all day long.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and sweating, and it's hot out, and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Electrolytes are just, I don't care if you drink ketones, to be honest, put an electrolyte in your system and you'll feel better, like period. Like I'm telling you, like if that's the one thing you do during like, as we're blessed during this crazy COVID time, like we've actually had an amazing summer, right? The weather's been pretty gorgeous for us in Wisconsin or wherever you're living. I know it's been gorgeous here for us, but like electrolytes are huge. Like our kids drink them every day, you know, and all that. So, but that's why you don't live in Iowa, Pixie. Move to Wisconsin. So anyway, so, well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. And if there's anything we can do, you know where to find Brendan and Maddie, and obviously friend us on Facebook and message us, ask us whatever you want. We'll respond quick and easy and simple. And if not, we'll get you connected to some videos that will help educate you on everything. So appreciate you all time and have a wonderful Thursday evening.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Really great to
Bye.
see you all. Enjoy
Thank
your night.
you.
Bye.